It seems like this year and last year have just been like such renaissance of portable devices. And that's going to be no different in this video, talking about the two budget picks today. We got the Ambernic on the left and the Miyoo Mini Plus in this video. Brought to us but from Temu.com. They actually sent me both devices. I did my last review on the Ambernic from them. And so check them out in the description. There'll be like links to they're selling this device amongst as a bunch of other stuff. And if you're the first time buyer, there's like huge deals and stuff. And they have really great deals on these devices, so if you want to grab one. But let's go ahead and compare these side by side, and then we're primarily going to look at the game list and what's involved and do some gameplay to check this thing out if it really is a good budget handheld. Okay, all right, a little smaller than the Ambernic. And we're going to go ahead and pull this on, check them out. Some things I've heard is, a lot of people like the display on the Miyoo a little bit better. Ooh, this even has a little thing on here you gotta take off. Ooh, that is a nice display. Okay, that made it a lot nicer. And then they say the buttons are a little nicer here. Operating system, let's check them out. Both of them, you can add your own firmware, you can change the ROMs, things like that, add new ROMs. As far as ports getting started, you got both your USB Type-C, both have a headphone jack. The micro SD card is on the bottom of the unit here on the Miyoo. On the right side of the device, you can see you have dual SD cards slots for the Ambernic, and you got the power reset there. On the back, oh, it looks like you have a removable battery. Am I seeing this correctly? I did not know that was coming with this. That is cool. Removable battery. So as far as longevity of the device, that's great. Now, oh wow, they have the security screws on this. So, replacing this battery, much more difficult than this one. It also makes it look more like a Game Boy because, right, Game Boy used to be able to, put your batteries in and out. So nice little thing. Also, if you're going to be doing like aftermarket mods and things like that, it adds another, possibility there. You got volume up, volume down. You got power up at the top. You got the speaker in the corner. I can tell you right now, this speaker is much larger than this speaker. As far as the buttons, they're relatively similar in size. You can see the D-pad's a little wider here. The D-pad here is a little longer. All right, what else do we have? So I guess does this one do, I haven't really messed with this yet, but I wonder if this can run display out of the USB Type-C. Because if not, it doesn't have a HDMI on it, which is kind of a big deal. This one allows you to do that mini HDMI out the top, which allows you to put it to a main display. Yep. The battery is not hooked up to begin with. That's gotta get some people. It's broken. It was dead on arrival. Got the black screen the whole time. You're going to be seen with your most recent games. You can add favorites to your games. You have all your games. You can get RetroArch here. You can also get RetroArch in apps, and there's that RetroArch right there. You can go back. You get settings. You can turn it off. You can turn it off by the switch at the top. It's got that cool LED when it's on. Brightness levels, I was playing this video at 9 out of 10, but as you see, you can go higher or lower. That's going to affect your battery life. Something to know is it does have Wi-Fi. Color, you can change the hue, saturation, so you get a lot more customization with the screen here. You can change your language, so for those who don't speak English, you can change your language very easily. Key mapping, no. Menus to save and exit, okay, so that's what's gonna mess people up. So, boom, 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 menu, there we go. Background music, it's a bunch of this classical music and things like this. I have it at volume 3, you could barely hear it. You could just go down to volume 0 if you don't want to hear it at all. Theme, so this is pretty cool. I see a Nintendo Switch theme, and they change out really easily too. Go back to settings, and I want to show you that you can also hibernate. Like to save your battery life, never 5 minutes, depending on if you leave the device away. Fixes, there's an audio fix, factory reset it back to stock, device info, and hardware test. So you can see it's 1200 megahertz, 128 megabytes of RAM, and you can see what you're doing with your SD card. Now note, this only has one SD card compared to the Ambernic, which has 2. now let's check out the game. So what does this come with and what it's going to play? You got arcade, Game Boy Advance, you have MAME, more arcade games. You have Nintendo, regular Nintendo Family Computer System. You got Mega Drive, also known as Genesis. You have FF Play, which is empty. You got regular Game Boy. You got Neo Geo, more arcade games. And look, they have these nice little folders in there. So you got your CPS-1, CPS-2, so your Capcom games. I was in Neo Geo. Oh, I didn't go in vertical. You'd have to go down here to shoot, and then these are going to be vertical. Okay. Moving around, you got Neo Geo Pocket Color. You got your Super Nintendo. So SMS, Sega Master System. You got Shoot, those are your vertical games, so there's a duplicate fold in case you don't want to do the folder. Open Bore is empty. PC Engine, Street Fighter 2, Alter Beast, some nice ones there. PlayStation 1 and Wonder Swan Color. So I have to say, out of the box experience, both of these devices do not give you Mario games. Neither of them want Mario, any kind of Nintendo flack, so they've all decided not to do Mario games. And so when you're in the system itself, I'm in arcade right now, for example, you notice I have the folders at the top. You can click into the folders to find those. Final Burn Alpha, Hack Games, MAME 2003 Plus, Core Games, CPS or your Capcom Play System, Neo Geo, and then your Shoot are your vertical games. And then you have your games. You got 146 games, not including the ones in the folder there. And if you want to go faster, you can hit the back button and go down almost a half letter at a time. And you can see what's in here. We can go ahead and have a quick scroll here, and you can see here a lot of shoot 'em ups and things. I want to talk a little bit about this device where we're going. It's got a lot of really neat little things going for it, like this cute little battery bar here. It comes with Onion pre-installed, or Garlic pre-installed. I want to call it Onion. Garlic OS pre-installed. It's a nice form factor, and I have to say the screen is slightly nicer than this one, although they're both really great screens. My biggest issue with these devices is the size. I have big hands. I could tell you right now, like using the back buttons and playing a game where I have to utilize all these buttons at the same time, it's just not happening for me. So, if your hands are smaller, the controls are okay. They're fine. They're not horrible. But if you have really big hands, you're going to be cramped up here pretty easily. Pocketability is great for both of these devices. So I wanted to go back in arcade. You can see CPS-1. I'm sorry, let's go into CPS-1 here. You got 82 games. CPS-3, you got 6 games. Street Fighter Third Strike. Final Burn Alpha Hacks, you got 229. That's ridiculous. That's going to be like your Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Yeah, all this stuff. I wouldn't get too excited about this. You might find some good games in there. All right, then you got IGS. You got Demon Front. Ooh, great game right there. They don't even have a picture of it. Missing thumbnail. So, like I said earlier, you're not going to have any of the Mario games. These ROM dumps are not the greatest. But I like to focus on that because most people who buy this device, well, if you watch my channel, you're going to set it up the way you like it. But a lot of people who just buy this device or get it to somebody as a friend, they're never going to plug it to a computer. They're going to use this device as is. And so right now, we're in MAME 2003. Okay, so there you go. There's 412 games. So the 412 plus the 146 plus, so it really has like 1,000 arcade games on this thing. You just got to go into the right folder. And so here's all your other fun arcade games. This MAME 2003 folder has by far some of the better games in it. So make sure you don't overlook that when you're playing with this device. But as I was saying, that's just it. So as I was saying with these ROM dumps, you just got to be, you get what you pay for. And so you can absolutely dump your own ROMs on here and get it all looking great and adding those thumbnails and everything else looking good. I have to say, so far the arcade I'm the most impressed with, and I shouldn't even say impressed. I think is the most comprehensive out here as far as, the thumbnails being included and everything else. So there's a lot of games on here. I'm just going to go a little faster because otherwise we'll be here all day. NBA Jam's on here. That's a great one. And Outruns on here. So back to like the games they're not going to, Power Instincts on here. The games they're not going to rate in. The games they're not going to include are going to be the Mario games because Nintendo is notorious for going after and copyright striking everything if you use any Mario you know, Mario artwork, Mario games, things like that. But if you notice, they're still using Nintendo stuff. Like they still have Kirby and a couple other things. I'm interested to see if they have Pokemon on here. I think a lot of people are going to want Pokemon. The Ambernick has some of the Pokemon games on it. Let's see if this one does as well. And then you got your Neo Geo folder, 151. There's pretty much all the Neo Geo games, and then 183 vertical games, so quite a few on here. All right, and that's arcade. All right, now you got Nintendo. So Nintendo, there's some numbered games here, and then there's, you know, alphabetical order. But Rockman, there you go. That's going to be your. You got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Rockman's going to be your Mega Man. G.I. Joe Tekken 2. What the heck is that? You're going to have some. You know, out of 692 games, that's about how many Nintendo games are. There's going to be some missing here. Chip and Dale's on here. So there you go. You got Pokemon Green, Pokemon 2000. That, to me, is some sort of an Angry Birds. Okay, so there's a lot. You're going to see a lot of hacked games on here. You do have Battletoads. That's a good game. What I wanted to see, you got, okay, Super Street Fighter. That's pretty random. But as you see, if I go down to S, you're probably not going to see a Super Mario. You do got Micro Machines. It's a fun game. NOPQRS. There we go. So it should be under Super. You got Star Wars. Yeah, so as you see there, no Mario. Simpsons. Okay. Now I wanted to check Game Boy Advance. So there you go. For Game Boy Advance, you have Pokemon Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire, Fire Red, and Leaf Green. So that's going to make a lot of people happy that that's on there right there. And you got the Donkey Kongs, and you got the Sonics. So right there, that's pretty cool. That's going to, especially on a Game Boy Advance, on a device like this, it's going to look great. You even have Metal Slug Advanced. Let's just go ahead and load Sonic Advanced. Just make sure it is Sonic Advanced, which it should be. Yep, there you go. And this, to me, is so cool with the bezels and everything. It actually really does look like a Game Boy Advanced. I like the little bezel. It's got some sort of filter on it too. It looks pretty good. So this is looking great. And what I like about this particular device is you can hit the menu button and then you can save your state, you can load your state, you can go to the whole RetroArch menu if you want the native menu and get to all the different stuff, rewind and everything else. Quick menu resume. Or you can do Netplay. I don't know if that's, you know, I guess you could do Netplay because it has Wi-Fi, so you can absolutely play with other people. That's really cool. And then you can exit the game as well. So Netplay is if somebody else has this device or somebody else is running RetroArch in general, you should be able to Netplay with them. Okay, Mega Drive. I'm just basically looking for the Pokemon games. So Game Boy Color and Game Boy. So they have two folders here. Game Boy, you got 404, and Game Boy Color, you got 310. I wanted to see because on the Game Boy, okay, so Pokemon Silver, Yellow, Crystal, Pinball, Pokemon Puzzle. So that's good to see. And you got you got Wario Land. Nice. You got a Legend of Zelda. Okay. So it looks like some systems they're still loading them in with those games. Let's just see if there's a Super Mario on here or not. I doubt it. But so if you're into the Mario games, you're going to have to go onto a ROM website. Just go grab the ROM and then drop it on here. All right, and then you got Neo Geo Pocket Color. Super Nintendo, I already checked it. You got a ton of games in here in Super Nintendo. Look at this. It's got 1,500 games. I played Mario, Zombies Ate My Neighbors. You'll be able to see lots and lots and lots of games, but no Mario. Sega Master System, shoot 'em up. So Sega Master System, you got 197, 77 PC Engine games. That's a lot of fun games in there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Turrican, Bomberman. So that's a nice one to check out. Okay, PlayStation 1, 53 games. So these are in folders because they might be multi-CD games. We got Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Spider-Man,
Tomb Raider 1 and 2, Twisted Metal, Bloody Roar, Grand Theft Auto 2. So if you look for PS games, portable, you basically want a PSP, but play PS1 games. This thing is pretty cool. It's going to play all that stuff, and it plays it just fine. RetroArch and this 1.2 gigahertz thing plays it just fine. It's going to run just fine, and so that's pretty cool.
All right, so there you have it. This thing is awesome. Don't get me wrong. For a budget pick, it has a nice little selection of games on it. Not having the Mario games is kind of a drag. I haven't really checked out can you connect it to an external display and get that all working? If you can, it's nowhere near as easy as the Anbernic device is. But I have to agree that, if you do have smaller fingers than mine, it's a great little device. Screen is beautiful. The operating system is great. I actually really like the software. So that's what I think. Let me know what you all think. Don't forget Temu.com. They have some really cool deals. There'll be links in the description to all that fun stuff to get a good deal on this thing. But that's what I think. Let me know what you all think. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.